I don't know what time it is anymore. I've covered the clocks. I taped cardboard over the digital display on the microwave. I turned my phone face down. Knowing the time doesn't help. Knowing the time only makes the anticipation worse. Because I know that no matter what I do, no matter how many lights I turn on, or how loud I play the music, it always starts at exactly 3:14 a.m. If you are listening to this, you probably think the title of this video is clickbait. God, I wish it was. I wish I was just some desperate YouTuber trying to make a quick buck off a staged ghost video. But I'm not. I'm recording this because I am terrified. I'm recording this because my dog Thor is currently cowering in the bathtub, shaking so hard that his teeth are chattering. And I am sitting here in the dark, staring at a corner of my living room that looks empty. But isn't. Something moves there. I don't mean it walks. I don't mean it glides like a sheet in a haunted house movie. I mean, the space itself moves. The air ripples like heat rising off asphalt in the summer. But inside my temperature-controlled living room, in the dead of winter, I have the footage. I'm going to show it to you, but you need to understand the context first. You need to understand that I am a rational man. I'm a data analyst. My entire life is built on logic, on spreadsheets, on cause and effect. If A happens, it's because B triggered it. But there is no B here. There is only the barking. The incessant, terrified barking that tears through the silence of my home every single night. Before we go any further, I need to ask you something. It's going to sound strange, but looking at the analytics of this situation, I need witnesses. I need a digital footprint that proves I was here, that I saw this. So, please, hit that subscribe button. Not for my vanity, but because if this stream cuts out, or if I stop posting, I need a community that knows the truth. I need people who can look at the footage I'm about to show and tell me I am not crazy. Let's go back to the beginning, before the cold spots. Before the whispers. Back when I thought it was just a rat. I've lived in this house for 3 years. It's a standard suburban build, maybe 40 years old, not ancient, not built on an Indian burial ground as far as I know. Just a house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a decent yard for Thor. Thor's my golden retriever. He's 4 years old. And if you know Goldens, you know they are biological machines designed for love and food. That's it. Thor's never been aggressive. He's the type of dog that gets startled by his own hiccups. He loves everyone. He loves the mailman. He loves the neighbor's cat. He loves the Jehovah's Witnesses who knock on Saturday mornings. He sleeps in my room, on a heavy orthopedic bed right near the door. He has a routine. He spins 3 times, sighs dramatically, and is asleep by 11 p.m. He doesn't wake up until the sun hits the window. That has been our routine for over 1,000 nights. Until last Tuesday. I remember the night clearly because the air felt heavy. You know that pressure you feel before a thunderstorm. That static in the air that makes the hair on your arm stand up. It felt like that inside the house. Even though the weather app said clear skies, I woke up instantly. No grogginess, just wide awake, eyes snapping open to the ceiling. The house was silent. But it was a loud silence, a silence that felt like it was holding its breath. Then I heard the clicking. Click, click. The sound of dog claws on laminate flooring. I sat up. Thor, I whispered. The bed was empty. I looked at the doorway. It was open. Thor never leaves the room at night. I got up, putting on a t-shirt, assuming he needed to go outside. Maybe he had an upset stomach. I walked into the hallway, rubbing my face, annoyed at being awake. Thor, buddy, let's go, I called out softly. I turned the corner into the living room. The room was dimly lit by the street lamp outside, casting those long, stretched-out shadows across the floor. Thor was standing in the middle of the room, but he wasn't looking at the back door. He wasn't looking at his food bowl. He was standing rigid, his body tense like a coiled spring. His tail was tucked so far between his legs, it was touching his stomach, and he was staring. Fixated. He was staring at the back corner of the living room, the space between the television stand and the bookshelf. It's a dead space. I have a fake ficus plant there, and an old armchair I never sit in. Thor, I said, stepping into the room. He didn't acknowledge me. His ears were pinned back, and then the sound started. It wasn't a bark. Not get. It was a low, vibrating growl. A sound I have never heard this dog make. It sounded ancient. It sounded like a warning. I froze. My first thought was, intruder. Someone is in the shadows. I reached for the light switch, my heart hammering against my ribs. I flipped it. The room flooded with artificial yellow light. The corner was empty. Just the plant. The chair. But Thor didn't stop. He kept growling at the empty chair. Thor, stop it, I said, my voice shaking slightly. I walked over to the corner. I felt foolish, a grown man afraid of his own furniture. I kicked the chair. I moved the plant. See? Nothing. It's just a shadow, buddy. I reached out to touch Thor's collar to pull him away. When my hand touched his neck, he screamed. I don't know how else to describe it. It wasn't a yelp. It was a high-pitched scream of pure terror. He scrambled backward, claws scrabbling on the floor, slipping, falling, scrambling away from that corner as if it was on fire. Aaron passed, made one day whole, and into the bathroom, wedging himself behind the toilet. I stood there in the middle of the living room, alone, and that's when I felt it. I took a step toward the corner where he had been staring. The temperature dropped. I don't mean it got a little chilly. I mean it felt like walking into a meat locker. The air was biting. It hurt my skin. I stood in that cold spot for 10 seconds, trying to rationalize it. Draft from the window, HVAC leak. Then, the smell hit me. It was faint, but distinct. Ozone, like burning wires. And underneath that, something organic. Something like wet earth and copper. Like old blood. Primera? Va queda way. I turned off the light and ran to the bedroom, locking the door. I slept with the lamp on. Thor didn't come out of the bathroom until morning. The next morning, in the harsh light of day, everything felt silly. The sun was shining. Birds were singing. Thor was eating his kibble, wagging his tail, acting like nothing had happened. I checked the corner. The temperature was normal. The smell was gone. It was a nightmare. Primera told myself, or maybe a gas leak. I actually called the gas company. Tay came out, waved their wands around, and told me everything was tight. No leaks. So, I let it go. Wednesday night, I went to bed at 11 o'clock. Thor curled up at my feet. I woke up at 3:14 a.m. Exactly. I looked at the clock. The red numbers burned into my retinas. 3:14. I heard the growl. This time, I didn't call out. I grabbed my phone. I turned on the video camera. I crept down the hallway. My hands were shaking, making the footage blurry. I'll insert that clip here in the final edit, but let me describe it. In the video, you see the dark hallway. You hear the low, guttural growl. As I round the corner, you see Thor. Same position. Ridgy. Staring at the corner. But this time, he wasn't just growling. He was snapping. He was biting the air. Chomp. Chomp. As if flies were buzzing around his face. But there were no flies. He was snapping at something that was right in front of his nose. I zoomed in with my phone. The digital zoom is grainy, but on the screen, for a split second, I saw the distortion. Right in front of Thor's face, the air was ... bending. It looked like a clear gelatin was floating there, and Thor was snapping at it. "Thor!" I yelled. He didn't react. He lunged, and then he was thrown. I want to be very clear about this. My dog weighs 80 pounds. He is a big boy. In the video, you see him lunge forward, And then, abruptly, violently, he flies backward. He skids across the floor, hitting the coffee table, knocking over a stack of magazines. He didn't trip. He didn't slip. The momentum was backward and upward. Something hit him. I dropped the phone. The recording cuts out there. I spent the rest of the night in my car. I dragged Thor out to the driveway, locked the doors, and we slept in the back seat. I couldn't be in that house. Thursday morning, I didn't go to work. I called in sick. I sat in a coffee shop with my laptop, far away from the house. I started researching. I Googled dog barking at corner 3 a.m., cold spots in house, ozone smell paranormal. I found thousands of forum posts. Most were easily debunked. Mice in the walls. Infrasound from old pipes. Hallucinations. But a few stood out. A few people described exactly what I was experiencing. The specific smell of copper. The time always between 3 o'clock and 3:30 a.m. The so-called witching hour, or devil's hour. I posted on a few forums. I uploaded the blurry clip from Wednesday night. The response was mixed. Some people called it fake. Some said I pushed the dog, but one comment chilled me to the bone. A user named Watcher_0 sent me a private message. It said, "It's not a ghost. Don't treat it like a ghost. If you sage the house, you will make it angry. It's a mimic. It's learning. It's testing the boundaries. It wants to know how much fear it can harvest. Get a camera with audio. High gain audio. Listen to the silence between the barks. A mimic." I didn't know what that was. Primera looked it up. Folklore says mimics are predatory entities that copy sounds, babies crying, people calling your name, dogs, barking to lure prey into the dark. I felt an odd form in my stomach. I decided I needed better eyes. I went to an electronics store and bought a high-end home security camera with night vision and two-way audio. I also bought a dedicated digital voice recorder, the kind journalists use. If this thing was learning, I was going to go to school too. I'm asking you now, if you're listening to this, and you have experience with audio analysis, please, I'm going to link the raw audio files in the description. Download them, clean them up. Tell me what you hear, because what I think I hear is impossible. Thursday night. I was ready, or so I thought. I set the camera up on a tripod in the kitchen, facing the living room. It had a wide-angle view. It covered the hallway, the rug, and the corner. I placed the voice recorder on the coffee table, right in the center of the danger zone. I didn't sleep in the car. I needed to be there. If I left, I felt like I was ceding territory. This is my house. I pay the mortgage. I wasn't going to let a shadow bully me. I sat in the bedroom, door open, watching the live feed on my iPad. Thor was with me, leashed. I tied his leash to my belt loop. I wasn't going to let him get hurt again. 3 a.m. came and went. 3:10 a.m. My heart rate was 120. I checked my Apple Watch. I was sweating. 3:13 a.m. On the iPad screen, the living room was green and gray, the night vision illuminating everything in that ghostly monochrome. At 3:14 a.m., the camera glitched. The image froze, pixelated blocks of green scattered across the screen. "No, no, no," I whispered, tapping the screen. The audio cut out. Static. Then, the feed came back, but something was different. In the corner of the room, the armchair was sitting differently. It looked like the cushion was depressed, as if someone was sitting in it, and standing next to the chair, on the feed, was a shape. It wasn't a person. It wasn't a cloud. It looked like a smudge on the lens, a darkness that was darker than the surrounding night. It absorbed the infrared light from the camera. I looked down at Thor. He was asleep. Wait. He was asleep. Every other night, he had been frantic. He had woken me up. Why was he asleep now? I shook him gently. "Thor!" He was heavy, dead weight. Panic flared in my chest. I checked his breathing. He was breathing, but it was slow, shallow. He was in a deep, unnatural slumber. I looked back at the iPad. The smudge was moving. It was gliding across the floor, moving toward the hallway. Toward the bedroom. Toward me. I slammed the bedroom door shut and locked it. I grabbed a baseball bat I keep under the bed. I stood there, staring at the door handle. Silence. Then, from the other side of the door, right up against the wood, I heard it. Scratch. ... Scratch. ... Scratch. It sounded like fingernails on the paint. And then, a voice. It wasn't a whisper. It wasn't a ghostly moan. It was my voice. From the hallway, perfectly mimicking my tone, my cadence, my pitch. Thor, buddy, let's go. Thor, buddy, let's go. Thor, ... Buddy, ... It repeated it over and over, but it was wrong. The spacing was too perfect. Mechanical. Like a recording with the pauses cut out. Torbidi, let's go. Thorbida, let's go. I clamped my hands over my ears. I screamed, "Go away!" The scratching stopped. The voice stopped. Then, a new sound. A bark. But it wasn't a dog's bark. It was a human shouting the word bark. Bark, bark. A flat, human voice screaming the word at the top of its lungs. I huddled in the corner of the room with my sleeping dog, crying. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I cried until the sun came up. Friday, yesterday. I watched the footage from the security camera. It captured everything. The glitch at 3:14. The depression in the chair. The dark smudge moving toward the hallway. But the audio recorder ... That's what destroyed me. I plugged the recorder into my computer and opened the waveform. When the entity the mimic was outside my door screaming bark, the waveform was chaotic. It was loud, but I zoomed in on the silence before the screaming, the period when the camera glitched. I amplified the background noise by 40 decibels. There is whispering. It's coming from the corner. I listened to it on loop for hours. It's hard to make out, but it sounds like a list. It's reciting numbers. 3.1.4.1.1. .5. ... 9. ... It's reciting pi. No, it's not pi. It's dates or coordinates. 1. ... 9. ... 8. ... 4. ... I don't know what it means, but here's the part that made me decide to make this video. Here is the part that made me decide to expose this to the world. In the video footage, as the dark smudge moves toward the hallway, it passes a mirror I have hanging on the wall. Vampires don't have reflections. Ghosts usually don't either, but this thing did. For 3 frames, 1/10 of a second, you can see the reflection in the mirror. It wasn't a monster. It wasn't a demon with horns. It was me. It was my face. My body, wearing the t-shirt I was wearing that night. But the face was smiling. A wide, impossible smile that stretched too far across the face. And the eyes were black voids. It was wearing my face to come kill me. That brings us to right now. It is currently 7 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. I have sent Thor to stay with my parents. I told them I was fumigating the house for termites. I couldn't risk him anymore. I am alone in the house. I have set up 4 cameras. I have motion sensors connected to floodlights. I have bought a thermal imaging camera attachment for my phone. I am not running away. This is my home, and whatever this thing is, it thinks it can become me. It thinks it can steal my life, my voice, my face. I am going to live stream tonight. The link is in the description below. If I don't go live at 3 a.m., it means something has happened. But I need to do this. I need to confront it. I have a theory. The Watcher _0 user told me mimics feed on fear. They need a reaction. So tonight, I'm going to do the hardest thing imaginable. I'm going to sit in that armchair. I am going to sit in the corner at 3:14 a.m. I am going to occupy the space it wants, and I am going to be completely, utterly silent. I am going to meditate. I am going to starve it of fear. It's a gamble. It might kill me. It might possess me, but I can't live like this. I can't live knowing there is a copy of me walking around in the dark, practicing my voice. This script is already long, but I have to show you the evidence now. The following clips are raw. Do not watch them with headphones if you have a heart condition. The audio of the human bark is extremely disturbing. If you believe me, please share this video. Send it to paranormal investigators. Send it to skeptics. I don't care. I just need eyes on this. If you see a news report about a man found dead in his home with no signs of forced entry, check the timestamp. If you see a video uploaded to this channel tomorrow, look closely at my eyes. Look closely at my smile. Make sure it's really me. I'm going to the corner now. The time is 2:55 a.m. I'm setting the camera down. Wish me luck. And whatever you do, if you hear your dog barking at a corner in the middle of the night, do not turn on the light, do not go look. Just pull the covers over your head and pray it hasn't learned your voice yet.